Hello everyone, how are you today? It's Sharon here and I'm from the blog I Restore Stuff right here on Essential Stencils page, ready to show you another fun DIY project. So we're going to be working today on a porch leaner or a front porch sign, and it's going to be Western themed. So I've picked a few stencils, as I do sometimes, get them from all over the place. So if you're joining me watching the replay, please comment the word replay for a chance to win prizes within the 24 hours of us going live. But if you see the little red live showing that we're actually live here today, why don't you join in the conversation? Say hello. Hi, Dawn. Kimberly's here. Janice, hi. Let us know that you're here. Join in the conversation because right at the end of our live, Essential Stencil gives away prizes and to 3 lucky winners. So hi Brenda, how are you? Hi Maggie. Susan's here. Now behind me, as people are jumping on here, I just wanted to remind you that Essential Stencil has just dropped in the last week the Father's Day bundle, and so the bundle itself has sold out right now, but the stencil sets individually you can still buy and purchase, and they are still at a discounted rate for the next 2 days on the website. So I've got that here behind me. I just wanted to click on a few of my favorites. Has anyone ordered theirs already? Don't forget to use my code I Restore Stuff. Just let me go and find that for a second here. Don't go anywhere. Just have to remind you, use my code I Restore Stuff and you'll save 10% off even those discounted prices that are on the website right now. Let me click on a couple of my favorite. I love this fishing one. And let's see if we can see it there on the back screen behind me. You might be able to see it a little bit better there. A lucky fisherman lives here with the catch of his life. So there's some great stencils there, especially made for Father's Day, but literally you could make these for birthdays, year round. Another favorite punny one of mine, one of my favorites is, it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure. That's funny. I'm not getting old, I'm becoming a classic. So that's a 2 set there. So those are Father's Day stencils, or father related, dad related. Some great good dad jokes on there. Oh, hello, how are you? Evelyn, your stencils are supposed to be there tomorrow. Woohoo! Well, my Father's Day stencil bundle is coming next week. So I just saw that on a notification, my shipping notification. So they're coming all the way to Australia. I like this one, Dad's Garage. I don't know if you can see that really well on the screen behind me, but there's Dad's Garage with some tools there. And I love also the pattern. Did you see the diamond plate pattern stencil and bonus? This is one of the ideas that I had for Essential Stencil, to make a pattern with this diamond plate on it. I did see one of my furniture painting friends here in Australia actually used a diamond pattern on the side of her bedside table. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if you could just stencil something like that? So this will be great. I can't wait to use that, especially using some of the those raised mediums and stenciling that through that, so you could kind of get that raised effect. So I think that is going to be so much fun to use. Carly, you got your Father's Day bundle today. Oh, you got it before I did. So that's so exciting. All right, so I am not going to be using Father's Day stencils today because I don't have them yet, but I hope to do that next week. How many days till Father's Day? I mean, how many weeks? I think, because did you know that in Australia we have our Father's Day in September? I know you guys have yours in June. Is it the 20-something of June? I kind of think it might be around that day, whatever the Sunday is there, I'm assuming. But yeah, we have ours, I think it's the 1st or 2nd week in September. And so my husband, because he was born in America, he tries to get away with having 2 Father's Days. And I said, you could just kind of pick one. You can't have them both, okay? So he tries to get away with that. But anyway, hi Brenda, you're stalking today. Couldn't wait. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a Western theme. I've got my stencils kind of partially laid out here on this huge board. It's just a plywood board, which is fun to work with. Let me just go back here. And I want to be able to see if I can see our live, so I can see the comments here on my laptop. But don't forget to join in the conversation. And we have June 18th, Kathy says. Okay, so it's June 18th this year. Yeah, it is around about my husband's birthday is on the 22nd, and so Marty tries to get away with 2 Father's Days and a birthday right in there all at once. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to be using a couple of different sets from different things, but one of the main sets I'll be using today is these gorgeous Western letters. They are called Western letters. A to Z, I say in Australia, I know you guys say Z, A to Z letters, all the letters of the alphabet there, and they are 6-inch by 7-inch stencils. So they are, you can see the A there, look at that cool Western font. So I'm going to be theming it around that. I'm also going to be using one of the stencil sets from the Stencil of the Month Club from a couple of months ago. I think it was Melissa's design. Yes, let's see, because it has some cowgirl boots on there. Is that? No, it wasn't Melissa's design. What am I thinking? Okay, so there's that one. I'll be using a little bit from that, but also some of the other Western themed stencil sets that we've got. And I do have in the link in the description of the live, I've got a list of the supplies there and my link so that you can get 10% off when you use my code iRestoreStuff at the checkout. So let's head down here to my sign where I'll be working on, and I'm just using a plywood board, and because it wouldn't fit the word welcome on it, wouldn't fit a huge welcome sign on it, so it's kind of short. It's less than 4 foot long. I did put the let me see what I wrote. I did measure it. It's 3 foot 2 inches, 3 feet and 2 inches, and then across this way it's 13 inches. So it's 13 inches across. Yeah, 13 inches across, and so it's just a random size, and it's you know, because I just work with upcycled, recycled wood and things like that. So let's point this down a little further. And I've painted the background, and you can see knots in the wood and everything. I've painted the background in just coal black, which is just a true black that Fusion Mineral Paint has. I want to be adding this welcome part here from this Welcome Dogs Round stencil. It's such a cute stencil in one of the latest collections that Essential Stencils put out. It really suits those big round signs. So you've got the dog paw prints, and then this part goes, you know, the shape of the fonts and the letters all kind of work towards a nice round down under there like that. There's an example right here on the front. So I want to use the welcome part of that, and then just put like a welcome home. You wouldn't have to add the welcome, but I just think it would be a nice fun touch. Plus I just love to use as many stencils I can in one live. Let's see if we can break a record or something. Oh dear, it's a lot of fun. I just love mixing and combining the stencil sets. Oops, got to get it out of here first. Keeps getting stuck to the edge. Wrestling with the stencil packet. Oh my goodness. All right, so I've got the HOME right down the center here. I will probably need to tape these down just to make sure that I get them all straight and lined up. And I'm assuming that my edges here are nice and straight. Now let me just check over here on the laptop. I've got to be able to see your comments, and because I've pointed the camera down, I can't really see those comments coming through, so I just have to check my live here on the laptop. But so that welcome, so we don't need to use that part. We'll probably tape a section of that off. And so especially down here where the W kind of goes a little bit close to the words, I want to tape that area. The rest, my brush probably won't hit any of that because it's a fair way away in distance from that. So yeah, that's one thing we'll do to get ready. Let's see, here we are. Now I can see you. Hello, Kathy. Kimberly, yes, that would be a fun challenge. How many different stencil sets can I use in one project? I don't know that I'll be doing that today, but we'll be using a few. So I want to use that there, and I'll show you as we go some other ones there. If you did want to sneak peek at all the stencil sets I'll be using, it is in the description of this live. I don't know if you can tap that while you're actually live, unless you're maybe on a desktop, on a computer, on a computer or something. So I want to put this welcome sign up around about here. I want to have a little bit of room because I'm going to put something else here. We're going to put some other stencils around. I did want to use some patterns as well. I was thinking of sort of a background look, but I might start with, oh yeah, I was going to use, see this set here? I was going to use this for the O. This is also another Western pattern. This is called Southwestern. So check this one out. It's got a cute mini set. This is one that's been out for a little while, but some of you are new to Essential Stencils and you may not have seen all of the different sets that are available. So I'll let you know. This has got a cactus in it. It's got some a cute bird. So all these kind of southern, they look like, I would call them maybe indigenous designs. Aren't they cool? Chilies. And then there's this Southwestern style pattern. So I like the idea of the pattern, and I think I may even use the cactus somewhere here on this set. But I like the pattern, and I'm wondering if that will go nicely behind the O for just a little bit of a different something. I don't know. We'll see. It may make it a little bit too busy. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Leave the pattern or take it off? Oh, and which way does the O go? I'm guessing it goes that way. I have a look. If in doubt of which way the letters go and the fonts go, because it's got this little swirl here, does that go down the bottom or does it go up the top? I always refer to the packet, and if you can see the O on the packet, that is at the top here. So, you know, if you find that you've placed the letters down and you've placed them down this way and this little swish is down here, you can always refer to the packet and get the correct way of facing your letters. So it probably really doesn't matter because, you know, you could do anything there. Let me see what the commenters are saying. That pattern would be cute. You like that idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, we'll try it then. Okay, we'll try it. Now, what I was also going to do is, and I may save the pattern part for when I do the full stencil. So I'll put on my welcome aside. A lot of you do appreciate it when I show you how to do the shadowing technique. So I am going to do that on this sign today. So when I do shadowing, first of all, what I do want to do is I'm going to tape these exactly together because I think that the distance here is measured beautifully by Essential Stencil and it all works out that it is exactly the right measurements. So when you've got it all lined up together, oh, and look at that, my painter's tape almost fits, but it's not quite. I'm going to have to bend that over because I don't want the painter's tape to cover any of the letter. So when I get that right, it'll just help to keep these stencils together so that when I then measure the sides, make sure I've got it centered, we can get it right. Let's see. Yep, we just got to tuck these in a little bit and see how I'm making it stick, but it's just don't want it to go into the letter because that will cover up. So we'll do a shadow. And so for this, because these letters are so large, usually when I do a shadowing technique, I just colour in the whole stencil. But what I'm going to be doing this today, is just concentrating on those areas which will actually be the shadow because you just cover it up anyway, and you'll see what I mean. So when I do a shadowing technique, I do the shadow and then I shift it slightly across and slightly up, you know, one way or the other. So what I want to do is for the shadow itself, shift it down from where I want it and then slightly across the opposite direction. So when I do the top layer, this is the shadow, and then the top layer is the actual stencil, I'll be shifting it across and up. So all will be revealed when I do that. Now what colour to do my underneath shadow, that's the question, because I don't want to make it too dark or it won't stand out. I thought Western, we could either do mustard because I'll be doing white for the actual letters to really pop out, but for the shadow part, maybe a bit of gold. What do you think? Mustard or gold? I'll be using mustard elsewhere on the stencil as well. Maybe we'll go for a bit of gold. What do you think? Hi, Donna. Oh, you guys are saying orange, yellow. Yellow would be nice too. Mustard be cute. I do have yellow. I do also have yellow. What do you think? Gold, mustard, orange. Yeah. Hard to know, hard to know. I'm wondering if the gold will actually show, because the gold can be a little bit translucent. Lots of people saying mustard now. Gold, orange. Well, I think we're all even. So many different answers. The mustard is a little darker. The yellow may stand out, but then we're doing white. So it's all just very tricky. Maybe mustard. I'll go with mustard. Now I have my cardboard here, which is just a cereal box, literally. And so this is going to be used for offloading our stencil brush. So if you are new to stenciling, please tune in. Let us know if you're new, if you've never stenciled before. Maybe you've even ordered stencils. I know some people will get on here and say, I've ordered, but I'm just too scared to stencil. Well, here's your chance. We do have some great tutorials, and I know Essential Stencil sends you an email with good instructions on there as well. But it just really helps to watch these lives every weeknight and just get more and more tips. These brushes are back in stock, you guys, so don't forget, use my code IRestoreStuff, save 10%. Brushes are back in stock. These are going to be quite large letters, but for the shadowing, so for the actual stencil, I'll use this brush. I do have a couple of sets, so that's always handy. And then I'll use this 3/4 inch one just to do the shadowing section. So when I do the shadowing, because I'm going to move my stencil up and across this way, the shadow is going to appear just on these sides, the bottom and the side of the stencil. So I think that's the only place where I'm going to be doing the shadowing. So I'm using a gold that is from Australia. So probably the shipping is not worth sending it. So just use any metallic gold that you like. But I just like the color of this one. It's nice and bright. I'm just going to dip my brush into the gold and then offload it. I don't know if you can see my brush here on the side. Offload it onto the cardboard and also just sort of working it into the bristles. So let's see if this works. And I do have to have a little bit more tape on the edge here. See how the H is, do you say H or H? I don't know. I never know. I feel conscious when I'm speaking. It's just not the same accent, and sometimes I use the wrong word, different words. Not wrong, just different. Okay, so we're going to go down the side and down the bottom of here with our gold. Oh, that is nice and sparkly, and it does stand out, so I'm happy with that. This has got a nice strong base. So there's our shadow. This is going to be our shadow down here and across the bottom. So then I don't have to worry about using all of the paint in all of the stencil. So just coming in from the sides there, this is going to form a shadow for the background of our stencil set. That gold has lasted 2 long letters. That's amazing. And there's a little bit here that's very close to the edge. I might just tape that, make sure. I didn't really measure my sides. I was going to do that. Never mind. It's all good now. Adding a little bit more paint to my brush, working it into the bristles here and offloading that. And again, we're going on the sides here. I probably didn't have to worry. My brush doesn't look like it would have reached the edge, but you never know. With the thicker, the larger the brush size that you use, the more chance you've got of sort of going over the edge of your stencils a bit more. Oh, we need to get the bottoms of these too. Didn't think about that. So it'll be on this edge of the M. So the shadow, I forgot about that. It'll also come, it'll show on these sides here. So we do want to get some of that. And make sure we get the bottom. Anywhere that it's on the left side, so up here. You could do the entire piece if you wanted to. I just didn't want to spend time filling it all in, but this brush is really going a long way. So I'm just going to get the sides here on this side because they will also show. I didn't think about that, did I? nice gold bling. So if you've just joined us, we're creating a bit of a shadow effect on the sides of our stencil. Leave this up, get my E down here. So I'm just going along the sides and the bottom of all of the areas of the letters, and just remembering that these parts will show here, I think. No, what am I doing? The bottom of it. So if you're really not sure which parts will show on the stencil, then just go ahead and do all of it. Again, this is very close to the edge down here. So I'm going to take that off to make sure that my brush doesn't go over onto my black board on that area, and getting the bottom. It's doing my head in. I should have just done the whole lot. Okay, getting all the areas. If it's missed somewhere, I'm sure that it will just still all look great. Okay, so there's our gold for the shadowing technique. Now I'm just going to put that aside. I'll put the brush in a plastic bag, or you could put it in a wet cloth if you like, just in case I want to use that gold again or touch up somewhere else. I might use that later on for something else. Pop that into a little plastic bag. Now, I'm going to use the large brush, and we're now going to do the white, but what I wanted to do is put this fun pattern underneath. Now this is from the set called Southwestern. It's a Southwestern 6-pack set, and I'm going to put this under the O. We're also going to move and shift our entire stencil, so I'm just lifting that. So we've got it on our shadow. See how I've joined those together now, so it's not going to be, so that looks great in gold. I do like it. So the gold is going to be the shadow. So now we're going to move it across to my right, your left, just slightly, and then we're going to move it up slightly. And so that should, in effect, create, and you'll be able to see that gold shadow. Just making sure the top one is also doing the same. There we go. So, just checking it's all even, because I can kind of see through the stencil on the sides here, just to make sure it's all looking good. Okay, taping that down. This is a time where it's probably good to tape it down. Oh, I was going to put my pattern underneath the O. I can still do that. Just want to see how that turns out with a pattern behind it. See, I experiment with these things so you guys can try it yourself. If you like it. If you don't like it, you can leave it out. Okay, so it's not going to show that center pattern real well, but if I get that around about exactly in the center of the O, can see, oh, we don't want it to show through on the top there. The edge of the stencil is right at the top, so we're just going to go with that. There we go. Let's just tape that in case. All right, we've got our brush. I'm just using Fusion's Cashmere. It's an off-white colour. And again, these are the Western letters that we're using, and we're going to be using other stencils around it, so stay tuned and I'll fill you in on, as we go, what the different stencils are that we'll be using. Okay, so we've got a pattern here behind it. It's a bit of a Southwestern pattern from the Southwestern 6-pack set. Adding some white of this cashmere colour to my brush. Now look how much is on the brush. It's quite loaded. I need to offload that onto my cardboard right here. And I also sort of work it into the bristles at the same time. Add a little bit more, offload, but work it in. So you want to work with a fairly dry brush, but because these letters are quite large, I am going with oh, someone just said, I hope these letters don't sell out before you can purchase them. I think there's a fair few left. I didn't check actually, but it will say on the site. Okay, so now I'm going to go right over, and so I'm going over that whole gold bit and everything, because the gold, remember, is the shadow. So because we've shifted our stencil, the gold will show on the sides. This is quite a rustic board. It's actually just plywood. And the other reason why I've taped in the center there is because our brush could even, in fact, get into that little crack on that line there. And we don't want that to happen, because we don't want there to be a little white line, even a tiny one. It would kind of make it look dodgy. So the reason we can just do this nice big swirly method of stenciling now is because we've got hardly any on our brush. We've offloaded as much as we could. I'm just going to go downwards now along the grain of the wood with the stencil, because it's a longish stencil. Pulling in from the sides when you've got nice large letters like this. So there is a bit of a difference when we're stenciling when you're using large letters such as these, or you know, that nice fine narrow letters. You'd probably use a smaller brush. But if you're really unsure about stenciling, I always recommend practice on a piece of cardboard or on brown paper like we've got here. So this O, I'm a bit worried how that's going to turn out, because I think I need to have this outline here, and the pattern isn't going to let me do an outline, so I might have to go back and do something with this when I take the pattern out. So I'll put an outline in there, and I can tell that just by looking at the stencil, because the stencil of the pattern is actually covering the edges of my O, so it will look kind of a little bit weird if I don't do something about filling that in. So I'll remove that in a minute and show you what I mean once we've finished all these letters. This one I'm sort of pouncing the brush and wriggling it into those patterned areas with my large brush. But I'll show you that. I'll come back to that. We will come back to that in a minute to show you what's... someone's just asking, what is that Southwest one called? So it is actually called Southwestern 6-pack mini set. And so you can use my code, I restore stuff at the checkout, get 10% off anything in store. I feel like that's a long way out, that shadow. That's okay, we're going with it. But also, don't forget, Father's Day stencils are right there at the front of the website. It's when you click on my link in the description, or there you'll see at the top a banner, and they are on sale for the next 2 days, and you can use my code and get another 10% off. They're already greatly discounted, ready for Father's Day. I know some people have received theirs already, which is amazing. So you'll be all decored and crafted up for Father's Day. You can use those for t-shirts. Make Dad a fun t-shirt that says one of those funny sayings on it about the dad bod. That's hilarious. But yeah, great ideas to do them on t-shirts. Now, if you haven't seen us do things on t-shirts, I do have in our lives right here, or you can check my YouTube channel. I've stenciled on t-shirts plenty of times, and you can watch the tutorials of that. Or if you've got any questions, you can message me at I Restore Stuff, and I'm happy to answer your stenciling questions there too, or any furniture painting related questions, because that's what I love to do, is upcycle furniture and home decor. So on my website, which is irestorestuff.com, you can see lots of furniture painting tutorials and so on right there. Love to help people upcycle their furniture, because sometimes your piece of furniture might just need a quick refresh. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy a new one. So if we can save money, I know that it's a great idea. So if you are looking for a good furniture paint, that's what I'm using right now. This Fusion Mineral Paint is actually formulated especially for furniture pieces. So if you're looking for a good furniture paint, please do ask me for my affiliate code. I would love it if you used the link, my affiliate link, and they will send it. They ship it from Canada all over the US. So nearly finished here. We'll see how our shadows turned out, and then I'll go back to my O where I've done that pattern in the background, and I will just finish off the edges of that to show you. Okay, let's see. I'll take this O pattern out and I'll show you what I mean right here. I'll show you the shadow effect. Let's see how that gold looks. Oh, I love it. I don't know if you can see that close up yet, but see what I mean with that O? I think I need some more O definition around that gold area. So what I'm going to do is just lay that back down exactly where it is. I've got hardly any on my brush. I'm just going to go around these edges with a really swirly motion, just sort of filling in a bit of an edge there. It's almost like a bit of a shady edge. See how that works. And it'll give it some definition to finish off the edge. So see how I'm doing that? It's just kind of creating a bit of a shadowy effect on the outside, and I'll show you what that looks like. So now I can see that's a more defined O. I do like that fun pattern. That's kind of cool. So this goes into my washing up pile to wash my stencils once I'm finished there. But let's have a look at doing some of the other fun stencils around this. Now I said I'd probably use the cactus, and that's again from this Western set. There are some fun other Western style stencils. If you like that theme, just let me put this white painted brush, because I'm going to use white again in a minute. I'm just going to put that in a wet cloth so it doesn't dry out. It does look beautiful, doesn't it? I love the gold. It really makes it pop. So here are some other ones. There's Mexican tiles. There's 4 different tiles right there, and they were so popular when they first came out. They just literally sold out straight away, but they are back in stock if you have been waiting for those. All different sizes. And see, I could use those tiles around the edge for some extra pattern kind of look if you wanted to. There is also Wild as the West 6-pack set. It has some fun stencils in there. Take a bath, you dirty cowboy. So, and then it's got the cowboy stencil. It has a yeehaw stencil. Has a horseshoe. That would be fun too, somewhere on here. Then it's got cowgirl boots, which are fun. We could put them down the bottom, but I'm going to use some other boots in a minute from our Stencil of the Month Club set from April. And then we've got Wild as the West. So a lot of fun stencils in that set too. You could really, you know, round out your porch sign like with any of those. Some of these patterns, like I said, you could move around and use them as a background around the outside. I'll let the cactus go there just for a minute. And on the top here, I thought I'd add this welcome. So it says welcome home. And we don't want to leave it too far up. But the other fun thing I wanted to do, and I'm not going to put the dog's sign there, but we'll just add that welcome across there. And then I wanted to add, so I'll just get these ready to see for placement wise. So this is from April Stencil of the Month Club set. So if for those of you who didn't know, Essential Stencil has a Stencil of the Month Club, which is only open for intake once a month. And it's during that 1 week of every month, you get a chance to join the club, tell your friends about it, get everyone to join the club if they wanted to join. And you get shipped to your door a set of 3 stencils every month. So that is coming up in the next couple of weeks, I think. But this was from April, okay? So I do love these cowgirl boots that were in the April set. I'm going to be using those down here on the bottom of this one here. So we'll just add some cowgirl boots. They'll go great down the bottom. Oh, and this was the add-on from that month. So I want to just use this cowgirl hat. So it does pay to join the club because they're sort of one-off, exclusive to the Stencil of the Club members. So, oh no, what was out of stock, guys? The letters? I hope not. I did check before I left, before I did my live. Okay, so this cowgirl hat, I like the idea of the hat just kind of hanging over the edge of the sign here, so, or the edge of the letter H. So I'm going to try and do that fun idea. So let's put the welcome up the top of our set here. Can you see that? Making sure I'm in the right shot. And just going to place that nicely there. Use some of my tape here to tape this off. Make sure I've taped that there. And we're just going to use that white colour again. But this time we're not doing a shadow, we're just going to, excuse me, we're just going to stencil it straight onto the black. So it's this white colour called Cashmere. And offloading my brush again on the side. And adding the welcome. Yes, I'm making a large porch sign, Susan. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So all the details, Barbara, for the Stencil of the Month Club is over on stencilofthemonthclub.com. You can check that out. But we will be, once it's Stencil of the Month Club intake week, we'll be sharing lots more about that during that week. But I just thought I'd mention it here to get you ready and get you prepared for just how much great value it is being in the Stencil of the Month Club. And if you're a crafter, avid crafter, you love to give gifts or you sell your products that you make, Stencil of the Month Club is a great idea. So I'm just going to add a bit from all my stencils in my collection. I don't want to just use them one time. I want to use them over and over. So I love it when I can just pull them out and have them there to use for other signs that I'm doing live. So, welcome home. Gorgeous southern set. So I just need a little bit more white on my brush here. If you're new to stenciling, practice, practice, practice. Susan, you got a few of these boards laying around. You've been in a rut. Oh, I get it. Yeah, it's almost like artist block or writer's block, isn't it? You can just kind of run out of ideas. I feel like that happens to me sometimes. And honestly, sometimes it happens right before I'm supposed to do a live. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do today. And then it all just comes in at the last minute and it all comes together. So there's our word welcome. Now we're just going to add some bits and pieces to the sides of it. Well, I could have done a little bit more of gold on that too. That's another idea. But I think the white really pops on the black. So we'll pop that here and I'll grab this hat. Now, I hesitate sometimes to use some of these stencils that were in the Stencil of the Month Club because you can't get them anymore once they're gone, they're gone. But I just wanted to show you an example of some fun things that you can get in the club. Now, let me see. I'm looking at this upside down for myself, so I just want to make it look like the hat is hanging off the letter H. So does that look like it's hanging? Or do I need to move it maybe a little bit more on? There. You can hang your hat. Is that a good placement? I kind of... Okay, I'm going to just do it here. I feel like that's a good spot. We could do this a different colour. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of mustard in this, or we could make it a gold hat. I just like the idea of the mustardy look, being in that southwestern kind of theme. Just precarious here with paint and wet paint and things and brushes. Okay, I'm going to pop my white brush away and let's try this one. It's another 3/4 inch brush. We'll do a bit of mustard. Look, if that turns out that it's too dark against the black, we can always just go over it with a white or a yellow. Oop, and I've just flicked paint all over my board. That's the thing, when you just Excuse me. Little sip of water. Yeah, you could always mix a bit of brown. The brown, excuse me, I feel like it would be very dark against the dark. But so I didn't offload the mustard over here because there's so much paint on the brush. I want to use it, I mean, because this hat is quite a large space, large area to cover. I thought I'd just put it straight in the middle. Oh, got a little tickle in my throat. Now I'm sort of now spreading that paint out and grab a little bit more on the brush. Now I'll offload it. Oops, I've offloaded it onto a wet white bit. Excuse me, sorry for coughing in my microphone. Yes, someone else is mentioning that. Kimberly, thank you for mentioning the other shadowing technique, which is the one I usually use, which is pretty similar, but instead of just doing a part of the letters, you can do the full letters, just cover them all over. Oh, there we go, that's a bit thicker in that area. I'm just trying to be careful of the little tiny bridge that's in the hat that gives the definition of the hat on the top layer there, because sometimes those little extra parts, they wriggle around a bit. Coming in from the edges, get our mustard hat going. There we go. You can sort of see the H in the background because the mustard is a little bit translucent in colour, but you could do another coat of the mustard. Guys, just a reminder, don't go anywhere because we do give away prizes at the end of our live. Okay, so there's the hat. And we might continue with that mustardy theme down here with the cowgirl boots. I'm going to leave that there because I may dry that and then come back and do a second coat. So this again is just going to move things around to where I can see a bit better. Okay, so I'm shifting this up. Now this is from the Stencil of the Month Club, so it's not available. It was from April's Stencil of the Month Club, so some of you may have these boots, and these are cowgirl boots because I just love the Western theme, and these are nice and large, great for a porch sign. I'm actually going to, well, it's coming across, we can make it just outside of the letter E. You can see through the stencils here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in this mustard colour. What do you call that leather that looks sort of almost that mustardy coloured leather that's kind of in at the moment? We've got a couch that we bought for our new house that's in that beautiful colour. It's almost like, yeah, I don't know what the camel, maybe? Yeah, the boots are great, aren't they? Very versatile. Can use them for so many things. And it's got a cute pattern right here. Love it. Suits our Western themed sign. Had a little bit more mustard paint on my cardboard, so I was able to pick that up onto the brush and load some more. These are just, this one's sort of more of an outline of the boots. You could go in, again, if you're an artist, you could go in and fill this in once you've done the stencil. See how it's just outlines, it's not really filled in, whereas the hat was quite a filled in type of stencil. You can fill it in. These ones are just lines, so it's like a line drawing of the boots. A little bit more on those, the bottom of the boots down there. Once again, if you're just joining me, this stencil is from the Stencil of the Month Club, which you can only join once a month, 1 week a month. It's open for joining, and that will be 14th, I think it's open. It's coming up soon anyway. Excuse me. Okay, so there is our mustard boots. Let's see how they turned out. Oh, beautiful. Lovely. Down the bottom there, we've got boots. So you could fill those in or use different colours for different patterns. I just want to have a look at our hat here. Yeah, because I can see the H coming through here, I will grab a little more and I'm going to fill that in, give it a second coat. Maybe I'll just quickly hit that with the hairdryer. So if you do it too soon, if I put that second coat on and the first coat hasn't quite dried, sometimes it can actually pull off that first coat. So if that ever happens to you where it feels like it's pulling away that first coat, that's probably why. So let's just go with it again. Okay, so now it's filling it in a little bit more. You can kind of still see the letter behind it, but that's okay. I do like that gold on the edge where we created that shadow. Yeah, and if the shadowing sort of messes with your head, just do the colour in the whole entire letter set. And if you're trying to figure out, oh, which side should I shadow on? I just did the sides, but you can actually fill in the entire letter, and sometimes that's just a little bit easier to, you don't have to sit there and figure out what's going to be seen and what's not going to be seen. All right, I think that's covered it a lot more, a lot better. What about a little mustard cactus somewhere? How's that looking? We've got welcome, home. I like the hat hanging off the H there. That's kind of cool. So when you're looking at design and placement and layout and adding bits and pieces, so see how I've got the welcome is across the top. It's fairly height heavy here as the W and the L are large, whereas these are small. You probably could have also flipped the hat and put that over this side. So if you want to sort of even out this spacing here as there's too much going on, you can flip it over and do it in the reverse. So I could have turned it over this way and put the hat down that way. But yeah, I liked the gold showing here and I didn't want to take away too much from that gold. So then we've got the pattern going on here with the O, and then we've got the boots down the bottom. So we do have, we've sort of got this side and then we've got a bit this side. I feel like we could add something maybe here with the cactus, but then it feels too close to that. I don't know. Maybe just a little cactus off to the side here. Or we could put it way down low. I don't know. It's hard to tell what to do. And I know cactuses aren't orange either, so, or should I just leave it simple? Just with that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Should I leave it as it is, or should I add the cactus somewhere? There are so many fun little stencils to add, and I showed you some of those before. The Western, if you're wanting to go that Southwestern theme in this 6-pack of minis, everyone's saying leave it, like it as it is. I think it looks great now. And so if I do add something extra, it kind of feels like, oh, will I be taking it away? So what I could do, also, I was just showing you some of the other things that you can add to your stencils and stencil sets to give it that theme. There's also the Moroccan stencils there, and then there's also these other, so if you don't have the Stencil of the Month club set, you can use this set of little cowgirl boots down here. That is from the Wild as the West set. So if you're not in Stencil of the Month club, you could still use these from the Wild as the West set. And these have got gorgeous sunflowers outside of them. That's the other thing I thought of too, is adding transfers. I could add some sunflower transfers onto the side here. I could add some sunflower transfers coming outside of the boots. So even though these are smaller, they still would look cute on a sign that you're going to theme with those that Western theme. Also a horseshoe. But again, I feel like I could add too much if I just keep adding everything. But there's so many different great combinations there. And of course, as I mentioned before, the Mexican tile set, which I feel like, you know, I could do some patterns around the edges and make it look all funky too with some great Western theme. But I do think it looks great just like it is. And if anything, what I might do is just add a little bit of edging. So sort of a little bit of shadowing to the edge. So I've got my stenciled brush here and it is quite dry. Like literally I could go like this and there's nothing on it. But I just want to test that first. Oh, there's lots of great. The horseshoe would have looked good for the O. Yes, Michelle, I agree. I think that would have looked great too. Sunflower transfers, yep, they would be cute. So, you know, you could add them to other areas of your stencil or, you know, have some coming out of the boots. So what I'm going to do is just go across the edges here and see if you can see that. It may not turn out too well. But there we go, sort of adding a bit of a white distressed look coming off the edges. I don't know if you can see that up that far, but I'll bring it down to where we can see it. I don't want it to look like I'm dragging it up and down here, but if I just go sort of sideways a little bit diagonally, I'll go to down here where you can see where I'm up to. Oop. Can you see that? See how I'm just sort of dragging the brush along and you can kind of see the difference. I haven't done down here, and up there I've done the edging. So we're just going across that. You could use another brush. You don't have to use your stencil brush, but since I've got the white stencil colour on it, I just thought it'd be nice edging. Now down here we've got this little grungy bit of wood. Like the wood's actually got knots in it and all kinds of things. So this is a little bit we can highlight that dodgy edge right there and actually highlight the roughness of the wood. So if I just keep going around the edges. Now don't go anywhere, guys, because we are about to pick some prize winners, some lucky prize winners of Essential Stencil. We'll be picking those in a minute. I'm going to come in a little bit at the corners. So just to bring in that a bit more, and I'll probably sort of do a bit more detail and finish this off after we're live, but I'm just kind of, see how I'm bringing the brush in a little bit more of the edges. Could even do a little swirly motion, make it a bit cloudy to create a bit of texture. Adding a bit of, there we go. And again over the other side you could do a similar thing. It's better to go off the edge, so if you can see the direction my brush is going, off the edge rather than on, and that gets it coming off the edge. It's a little bit tricky to do it upside down and back to front. But see that there? I don't know if you can see that effect there. Gives it a bit of a cloudy effect. Let's see if I can just do that super quick, and then we are getting ready to pick prize winners. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Oh, and the top here we've got a bunch of knots and wood defects, but I like to call them character, and can actually make that stand out and look effective. All right, just adding that finishing touch, and we'll pop the video camera up. Okay, let's have a look again. Don't forget that And on the screen behind me, you'll see the reminder. See, Father's Day stencils right up there. Father's Day stencils. Don't forget to use my code, I Restore Stuff. And our winners today are, let's have a look. Tap the screen so I can see you. Susan, Connie, and Melissa. So Susan, Connie, and Melissa, you can email support@essentialstencil.com. Let them know that you're a winner on Sharon's Live today, and let them know where to send your stencils to. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Here's what we made, just in case you forgot. I love how it turned out. Welcome home, Western themed porch sign. Or it could actually, this one could actually hang quite nicely as well, because it does go right to the bottom. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Don't forget, join me over at irestorestuff.com or at irestorestuff on any of the social medias. I'm Sharon from iRestoreStuff, and I'll see you again next week for another fun DIY live here on Essential Stencils page. Bye.